On today's Toy Spot, we're going to be having a look at the DC Universe Batman Legacy line. This is Series 2, which comes to us as a Kmart exclusive. Today we're going to be looking at the figure of Batgirl. Batgirl. A fantastic looking figure. Again, I picked up the three figures, the Batman Legacy line Series 2. I picked them up through eBay, which meant I paid a little bit more of this, but well worth it. I was really wanting to get my hands on the Batman Series 2 of figures. Package-wise, we got the Batman logo at the top. I'm not going to touch too much on it. The skyline of Gotham City, a picture of Batgirl on the side, looking very nice. Very nice indeed. On the back of the package, the other figures that you can get to celebrate the legacy of Batman. We've got the Golden Age Batman, as well as Catman. The read-up underneath a very attractive looking picture of Batgirl. It says, "Secret Skilled Crime Fighter." On her way to a masquerade ball, dressed as a female Batman, young Barbara Gordon saves billionaire Bruce Wayne from attempted kidnapping by the villain Killer Moth and his henchmen, the Mothmen. After the heroic rescue, Gordon, daughter of Police Commissioner Jim Gordon, adopts the guise of Batgirl and becomes a skillful crime fighter in her own right. Proficient in karate and judo, eventually she teams up with Robin the Boy Wonder to help Batman take down the crime syndicates of Gotham City. Very cool. That would be packaging on Batgirl. What we're going to do is we're going to get this opened up and we are going to have a look at the Batman Legacy Series 2 Batgirl. There's more on the way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Much like the Golden Age Batman, the Silver Age Batgirl also does come with a poster. Meet the new Batgirl. Comes to us from number 359 of Detective Comics. Is she heroine or villainous? What is her startling secret identity? Well, we know this by now. The $1 million debut of Batgirl. It's very neat. Now, taking this appearance of Batgirl, they've carried over that design over to the new Batgirl figure here. But it's not a new Batgirl figure, as I just roll up this poster, get this out of the way, put that right there. Before we talk about the Batgirl, she does come with a Silver Age Batman stand with Batgirl on the front. I would say you probably will need this for this figure. And let's just put that down. And again, it's not a new Batgirl figure. I'll zoom in here for a second. I'll show you guys the face. Yes, it's not a new Batgirl figure. This is a reused mold, just a repainted mold of the DC Superheroes Batgirl, which if you were lucky enough to pick her up, I've done a review if you wanted to check her out. She was packaged with the Blue Cowl Batman in a 2-pack that was released around the same time as the Superman Clark Kent 2-pack. Now, she was painted differently. The cowl is roughly about the same color. It wasn't the dark black on the front there, and her outfit was gray. Aside from that, though, it is the exact same figure. This figure was also repainted as the Cassandra Cain Batgirl as well. So it has been reused a couple of times. Unfortunately, the fact that it was reused, it also makes use of the same problems that the earlier Batgirl figures, and really actually the earlier DC Superheroes figures all seem to share, and that is extremely fragile limbs. Before we talk about that, though, the paint on the Batgirl is very nice. They went the route of a shiny black paint coloring, similar to that of the Batman Beyond Terry McGinnis. And I think it works really, really well with this Batgirl. It works especially well with the bright yellow that they've used. Not to zoom in too much to her bosom area here, but the yellow bat symbol as well as the yellow utility belt really pop on this shiny metallic black. It's a fantastic coloring. The hair is just a slightly different color than that of the original Batgirl figure. But again, it's the same body. There hasn't been anything changed to it. Going back to what I had mentioned, the problem with some of the earlier DC superheroes figures is extremely fragile limbs. Most especially, the areas to really be concerned with is the bicep area connecting to the shoulder, as well as the elbow connecting to the forearm, or to the bicep area. These areas can be very problematic, especially if you had the DC superheroes Catwoman, the one that was the goggled version. She was also packaged with the Gotham 5 pack as well. This area right here is extremely fragile. So much so that you got to be careful when you're bending these arms. Something I also want to bring up to your attention is when the figure came out of package, or actually when you remember, if you remember the package end of it, her arm is actually up when you get her out of package. Now when you get her out of package, be very cautious, because right here, let's zoom in and hopefully you guys can see it. Right here, there is a hinge. This is how the arm is attached to the torso. You see that? It's a much longer groove. When the figure came out of package, the shorter groove, as you can see, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, there is a shorter groove at the top. Well, this arm was completely reversed, meaning that the camera zoom, there we go, meaning that the groove that it should have been was actually flipped up top here. In other words, when you got the figure out of package, the arm would not bend all the way, it would only go to about there. I actually had to rotate the shoulder to get this hinge down at the bottom. When I was able to do that, the arm was able to bend all the way down. I'm telling you this now because I almost did it. If you get this figure out of package and the arm is up like this, you'll probably think to yourself, oh, I'm just going to bend the arm down. Unfortunately, if the hinge is the wrong way, it's only going to go so far, and when you apply enough pressure, that's going to come right off. So I'm giving you guys just a bit of a heads up. Do have a look and make sure your hinge is facing the right way. If it isn't, you're going to have to rotate that arm around to get the arm to bend down. Other issues, again, is this area right here, this bicep, is on an extremely small peg that if you bend it too much or rotate it too much, that's going to come right off as well. The hinges on the elbows, geez, Spot, you're finding a lot of fault with this figure. The hinges on the elbows as well are extremely loose and extremely fragile. So again, caution should be made when handling this figure. At the top of the package it said for adult collector. I can't stress that enough. You probably don't want to give this to a kid that's just going to be playing with this in the dirt. These arms will probably just break right off. Especially with this paint, I'm a little iffy as well. In the way of her articulation, she has a ball jointed head. She has a pin and socket shoulder which can bend in and out. Can also rotate back and forth, but do be careful. Rotation in the bicep, a bend at the elbow, a rotation in the glove. She has a mid-torso bend. The legs can bend out, which again, you gotta be really careful of. Bend out, back and forth, a rotation in the thigh, a bend at the knee, which I'm finding a little loose, just like I did with the elbow there. A little loose. And there's also a bend at the foot. I would say don't put her in too many poses, because you probably will find these limbs going to get extremely loose on you. It's a good enough figure. Kind of wish there was some accessories included, maybe some batarangs and stuff like that. But we did get a much needed, I think, bat stand, I think, for her, because you probably will need it. Batgirl here, though really just a repaint of an initial DC Superheroes Batgirl mold, I think is still a pretty solid figure. Yes, a few problems here and there with the way the figure is designed and built, but if you can overlook that, it's still a pretty solid figure. And I'm gonna give her a 7. you can't really do too wrong, and the fact that there's really not a lot of Batgirl figures out there for your DC Universe figures, she is probably one of the better of the lot. Today's toy spot, we were having a look at the Batman Legacy Series 2 figures. We're looking today at the Silver Age Batgirl. I thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more toy spots to come, and I'll see you guys next time.